For being here. We are doing our daily study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We're on Canto 10, Chapter 23, beginning with text number 26. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Once again, we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 23, text number 26. Nadun adhamayi kurvanti kushala swarta darshinaha ahaituki avahitam bhaktim atma priyayata. Translation: certain personalities who can see their own true interest render unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service directly unto me, for I am most dear to the soul. Who knows what verse is very similar to that famous verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam?
Krishna Daya and I, we know it's a Savai Pumsam Puro Dharma, Yato Bhaktir Dokshiji, Ahoitaki Apratiyataha, Yayatma Suprasidati.
Very nice, yes. So this Krishna is saying ahaituki avahitam, which is the exact same meaning. Vahitam. Vahitam is that there's no break, it's continuous. There's no actual break in it. There's a few meanings there. You'll find that actually this verse is, it's this terminology, ahaituki and avahitam, is repeated by Lord Chaitanya. It is repeated by Krishna in different circumstances. The purport: the Supreme Lord informed the Brahmana's wives that not only they, but all people who recognize their true self-interest take to the spiritual process of loving service to the Lord. Lord Krishna is Atma Priya, the real object of love for everyone. Although each individual has his own taste and freedom, ultimately, every living being is a spark of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus everyone's primary loving attraction is constitutionally meant for Lord Sri Krishna. Loving service to the Lord should be ahaituki. So you just have this hetu word there. Hetu means cause, without any kind of motivation that is there, any type of thing that's causing it. And avya vahita, uninstructed by mental speculation, selfish desire, or any quirk of time, place, and circumstance. So the Prabhupada comments on this word in the third canto, because this terminology, ahaituki avahitam, is used, and he says uninterrupted, and it also means that there is no break in the mentality, that both parties have the same desire. You'll see here. Avahita means without cessation. A pure devotee must engage in the service of the Lord 24 hours a day without cessation. His life is so molded that every minute and every second he engages in some sort of devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Another meaning of the word of avya vahita is that the interest of the devotee is the interest of the Supreme Lord, and they're on the same level. The devotee has no interest but to fulfill the transcendental desire of the Supreme Lord. So much spontaneous service unto the Supreme Lord, such spontaneous service unto the Supreme Lord is transcendental and is never contaminated by material modes of nature. These are the symptoms of pure devotional service, which is free from contamination. So avya vihita. So vya vihita means divided. And so avya vyahita means undivided. So we're giving our undivided attention to Krishna. Our consciousness is not divided from Krishna, and it is contiguous. It's like constant. So this pastime, you've probably covered this pastime so far quite nicely, but we'll just go over again that the cowherd boys, Krishna, and is feeling a little hungry, and he instructs the cowherd boys to go to see the yogic brahmanas and beg something. And it's actually a very rare circumstance. Krishna's asking you for service. Like we really want to have that circumstance where Krishna asks us for service. So Krishna's asking for service. And these are yogic, this is the Vedic Brahmanism. What is Vedic Brahmanism all about? It's all about hedonism. It is not about even moksha. The Brahmanas are not interested in moksha. They're interested in swargagatim, like you find in Veda Ratha, this criticism that Krishna gives in chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. He says, first, Vyaya Satmika Buddhir. So the devotees have this one pointed focus. They just want this connection to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he says, Bahushakas Yanantascha. Those who are intelligence is many branched, they do not succeed in their spiritual life. And then he goes to speak about this Vedic Brahmanism, where what are their goals? Let's pull it up. This is chapter Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 42, right after that 41. Yaimam pushpitamba cham pravadanti avipashtitaha Vedavala porta nanyat asiti varinaha Kama atmana swarga para janma karma pala pradam kriya vishesham bahulam bhogashaya gatim prati. So men of small intelligence, like we've heard this swalpam up, this other ulpam that is there. This is chapter 7. This is kamasya yo yam yam tarun bhakta shara architam ichiti. No, what is that? Before chapter 7, text I forget which one is where he says text 20. Somebody know that one? Chapter 7, text 20. I think that's it. Kama saster hita jnana. So their hrita is again this word hari, means it's stealing away the jnana. Kama saster hita jnana prapadyante na devata. So they're driven to worship and surrender unto the devatas. Prapadyante na devatam tam tam mama ashtaya prakatinyata swaya. And then he ends that section, yo yam yam. He talks about how he supplies the faith in the devatas, he supplies the results. But he says that they have alpa medasam. That's actually less intelligent because this is the Vedic Brahmanism where they're actually just into hedonism. They're just into enjoying some material enjoyments. So here, Krishna is saying in chapter 2, men of small intelligence are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant of good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification, opulent life, they say that there's nothing more than this. So this is they're not even interested in moksha. They're just interested in this, trying to attain higher situation. You'll find all these Vedic ceremonies. What is the blessing? May you have the proverbial 100. May you live for 100 years. May you be powerful. May you be healthy. May you be opulent. And so this is considered. This is on the lowest stage of the spiritual culture, the karmis. And so the Krishna and Balaram, he sent the cowherd boys there. And the Brahmanas, they did not reply. They did not say yes. They did not say no. And even the cowherd boys gave some technical arguments why it was okay, because they're saying, the yajna is not finished, so we cannot eat. And why should, the Brahmanas should eat first, we should eat first, so why should we give it to you? And so the cowherd boys gave some technical things. Actually, who should eat first? The person who's hungry. That is the best qualification for who should eat first. The one who's very hungry. And they said also, once the yajna has the yajnic part, the sacrifice has taken place, then the rest of it, then technically it is okay to eat after that, even though there are still some preceding ceremonies. But the Brahmanas did not respect these cowherd boys. They didn't have affection or respect. And so they didn't even say yes, they didn't say no. And the cowherd boys left. Krishna, when they came back, he gave them nice advice. You give to book distributors that, if you're out begging, you don't have any expectations, just be peaceful. And he said, go ask the Yajnik Brahmanas' wives. And he said, actually send them under the name of my brother Balaram. And he said, don't even say that we're hungry. Just say you're hungry. He said, because if you say that we're hungry, it will cause them too much distress. And so they went to see the wives of the Yajnik Brahmanas. And as soon as they heard the name, they said, actually, we're here on behalf of Krishna. And he has sent us on behalf of Balaram. As soon as they heard those names, they completely fainted in love. And can you imagine that? This is, we call purvarag. This is even before having a relationship, they're completely in love. This is a kind of relationship that parents are frightened of. We don't want our children to fall in love with somebody without even knowing the person, not having met the person, they're just completely in love. But you don't find this like in the one of the best examples of people going mad is like the Beatles. And they would, the concert, the ladies would be falling all over the floor and fainting. But nobody would just say, John Lennon. And they wouldn't faint just by the sound of his name. It wasn't that level. So like when Krishna went to Mathura, all these queens that were there in these different residents, they went to the tops of the roofs, but they all had this great affection just by hearing about Krishna. So this is our circumstance, that we're developing our attachment simply by hearing. So they heard about Krishna, or the gopis when they were really young, sometimes they heard about Krishna or they saw him. This is called purvarag, before they had an exchange. So they had this great attachment. So these Yajnik Brahmana wives, they fainted just by hearing Krishna, Balaram. Oh my God, they just completely fainted. And so the cowherd boys, now what they did was at such opposition, just like you have this Trivarka, this Trivarka, she came and Krishna, he saw her. She had a very beautiful face, but she was all bent up and her body was all bent. And he said to her, "Oh, what do you have there? What do you do?" She said, I supply these scented oils." And Krishna said, "Well, why don't you just give it to me? Just give it to me." And if she is to give that to Krishna, this is the property of Kamsa. She's doing this with the guarantee that she will be killed. She will be executed for such a treacherous act. But she was so happy to offer this to Krishna and Balaram. So from the navel up, she applied different colored oils and she contrasted it. So Krishna is like darkest, so she put like light colors over him, and Balaram is light whitish, and the dhoti, they contrasted the colors of their dhotis, and they made a whole nice decoration with these colored oils. So similar, these wives of the yogic brahmanas, they just start grabbing the different items of the yajna, the rice and different items, and they, even though their husbands, their family members are protesting, they do not allow them to stop them. So this is a great cultural clash that is there, and they're just saying, they just don't even listen to anybody, and they just take these items just to Krishna right away. And when they come, Krishna, like the gopis, when the gopis come to the forest to dance with Krishna, Krishna says, well, I think, this is kind of an odd situation. You're here late at night with a young boy. I think you should go home. And he, now we find that in this circumstance, it's a little different because he actually does not change. The gopis, he folds. But with the yogic brahmanas, he doesn't, because they're having this Madhurya Ras, but they're older than him, and they themselves are not gopis. They're not from the same village. To actually enter to like Rasa Leela with Krishna, you have to have a particular type of not only nature, but you even have to have a particular body. You have to have a gopi body. Like you can't just go like even Lakshmi has to witness from the sidelines. She can't just jump into the Rasa Leela dance. And so his particular Leela Shakti, also he's helping them experience this deepening of love, which is this love of separation. And so he starts to present this more logical arguments and present his kind of him as the supreme personality of Godhead, Paramatma, in the heart of all creatures, Sarvascha Chaham Ridi Shani Vishto, Matasmiti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. I'm in everyone's heart, and Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hideshi Arjuna Tishtati. So here we see. Yeah, so his Leela Shakti, pastime potency, she manifested her influence to bring about a mood of Aishwarya. And so he's going to start to speak in such a way, say that, the God, I am here, I'm everywhere, I'm in your heart. So, you don't need to be right here, because they're wanting to give up everything. These older ladies, and they're saying, no, we don't actually even have to be, in the Ras Leela. We can even just be on the sidelines taking the tulsi leaf that's on your feet, and we'll put it on our head. But he encouraged them to. He said he encouraged them to enter back into their social position. He said, you'll be protected, because they were afraid that by such an act they can't go back. This is the type of surrender. And Krishna's, when the gopis were like this, just like them, he's feeling napariham. I cannot repay. You're giving up your parents. I'm not going to give up Nanda Maharaj. I'm not going to give up Yashoda. You're giving up your homes. I'm not going to give up Vrindavan. They said, how can I repay you? Who knows this pastime of Sudama Brahmana? What in Sudama Brahmana's pastime, Sudama comes, and he is sent with his wife, is hoping that by meeting with Krishna, he can the Lord can help deal with this intensely poverty-stricken situation. Now Krishna knows everything. Like you find this pastime where Krishna is manifesting so many different forms in Dwarka, and Narada Muni he is watching this pastime, and there's something that makes him laugh. Does anybody know what was that made Narada Muni laugh when he was watching this pastime? Krishna Daya. He may know. What makes Narada laugh? Any
Give us
guesses?
a little hint.
Okay, so so what do Kshatriyas do? What are some of the things that Kshatriyas do in the city? Sometimes they do certain things in the city. They do what is called like a NSA. They kind of a little spy on their citizens to see how are they doing, what are they talking about.
They
And
come
so
in incognito.
yes, they're dressing in costume and incognito and going through the city and just kind of seeing what are people thinking, how do they talk, what's on their minds. And so Narada Muni, he saw Krishna doing this in Dwarka, and he thought it was so funny because Krishna is everyone's heart. What is he doing spy? he's already in everyone's heart. So that was quite funny for Narada Muni. So Krishna, he knows he's in the heart of Sudama Brahmana's wife. He's in the heart of Sudama Brahmana. Why didn't Krishna just tell Sudama, hey, buddy, I have it all taken care of. You go home and you will see a big mansion. Your wife, even her body will become transformed to beautifully opulent, like a superhuman form. Why didn't he tell him that? Does anybody know this little secret? Yeyatam mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. Krishna, he wants to reciprocate. He wants to reciprocate. Now, Sudama Brahmana, what did he give? He gave more than he had. He went to the neighbor's house. He begged a little, this like, you say, kind of like a, cheap food, like if we were to bring somebody some what is it, Oots chips or something you have in New York, Utz, how do you pronounce it? Utz, I don't know. UTZ or whatever. Some kind of cheap snack, and you bring it, you're gonna see like, imagine the we had the mayor, the former governor, no, mayor come to the Bhakti Center, and imagine he comes, we give him a bag of chips, some like 75-cent bag of chips, some little or corn chips, some like you get in elementary school or something. So he was a little embarrassed. He couldn't even give it to Krishna, but he wanted to at least make sure he brought something. Now he's giving more than he has, and so Krishna is thinking, how can I give more than I have? I can't even reciprocate with this devotee. He's serving me with such love and devotion. Like in the Bhagavatam, it's explained, you give something Krishna very small, he takes it as quite big. So he's saying, how can I can't reciprocate with this type of affection, with this type of love. And so he was embarrassed. Actually, the queens, they stopped Sudama from Krishna from eating more, knowing that this limitation of Krishna. They stopped, he said, with one grain, I can only give him the opulence of Lord Indra and Brahma. I can't, what else can I offer him? I can't give him, he's giving more than he has. I can't give more than I have. So he felt incapable of reciprocating. So here, back to the pastime, is Krishna, he's starting to speak, and he's feeling this great gratitude, and he's also for the purpose of increasing the loving devotion, he is speaking this very philosophical way to see that the Lord is in the heart of all creatures, and to reciprocate, to encourage them to see on this kind of less rasic, but the Lord's in your heart and he will be there, with you. But he's speaking this very nice devotional things, that it's actually bhakti is unmotivated, uninterrupted. It's not only uninterrupted in the form of time, but even there's no difference between the mentality of the devotee and the mentality of Krishna. It is this union of relationship. There's this oneness that is there. And so this is repeated by this particular, that Haituki Avahitam. You'll find these verses. Let's see. This is in the third canto. Where is this? Third canto. Dun, dun. The manifestation of unadulterated devotional service exhibited when the mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as the water of the Ganges naturally flows towards the ocean, such devotional service is uninterrupted by any material condition, and it flows towards Krishna. And so this is, I think this is Krishna speaking to Maitreya. And these verses are repeated by Lord Chaitanya when he meets with Rupa Goswami. He's saying these same verses in the Madhya Lila, and he's saying it it's also repeated in Adi Lila as well. And it's saying how even the devotees, they do not want liberation, even they don't want the ecstasies of prema. The Daruka doesn't want he doesn't want his service to be of fanning Krishna, to be affected by the ecstasies. Radharani doesn't want the tears to interfere with her darshan of Krishna. So they never forsake the service of Lord Krishna to aspire for their own personal pleasure through the 5 kinds of liberation, or even through the pleasure of devotional ecstasy. So let's go back to now we have verse 27. Prana bhudir manaswatma darya patya dhanandaya yat samparkat priya asams tatako nanuparapriyaha. It is only by contact with the self that one's vital breath, intelligence, mind, friends, body, wife, children, wealth, and so on are dear. Therefore, what object can possibly be more dear to one's self? So the self is the like a battery that makes all these other things have any kind of value, that we have, if it's what is the heart of our attachment, is how is it connected to ourselves? We are generally could be quite selfish. And another part of this verse is actually Krishna is saying, I'm the ultimate self of the body. I'm the Param Atma. So if you're just connected with me, then everything is becoming satisfied. Wealth, someone will, and of course you have there are those who work against their self. Atmaha, Atma Grantam. This is like you have in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this Tasmad Ekena Manasa. Therefore, always just you have your mind on Krishna. Etasmad Ekanas Manasa Bhagavan Sattvatambati, the great protector of his devotees. Shrotavya, by using your ears. Kirtita, by using your mouth. Dhyeya, by meditation. And puja, by engaging in worship. Nityada. And then he says, this type of meditation, yad anudyasina yukto, it's like a sword. Karma granti, this is karmic knot. You have a knot that's so tight, you cannot untie it. We might think in spiritual life, well, what about all my baggage, my generational baggage, my cultural baggage, my many lifetimes baggage? Shouldn't I deal with that? Krishna is saying, Yadonadhyasana scene, that this dhyana, this meditation on Krishna, is the sharp sword that cuts the chindanti kovidastasya. It cuts the this karmic bondage. And it says, Kona kuryat kataratim. What kind of person wouldn't want to do this? Have this rati, this attachment for Krishna's kata. And so that question is answered in later verses. You have this atma ganantam, atmaha. Those who are a butcher of themselves, or those who are butchers, who who have become so dense in their consciousness that they do not feel compassion as they're killing another creature, or they're so dense in their consciousness they don't understand that they're killing their own personal progress, their own personal happiness, the killer of the soul, as it says in Ishopanishad, or also in the Bhagavatam. So purport. The word yat samparkat in this verse refers to the contact with the individual self and ultimately the Supreme Self, the Lord, who is the origin of the individual being. By developing Krishna consciousness, one automatically becomes self-realized, and thus one's vital strength, intelligence, mind, and relatives, body, family, and wealth become enhanced and brilliant by the central influence of Krishna consciousness. Manasa deho geho yokicho mora. This is, everything is being connected in this connection of Krishna. This is Nanda Kishore, offering in service to Nanda Kishore. This happens because Krishna consciousness is the optimum, efficient conjunction of the individual self, who is pure consciousness, with the Supreme Self and the Supreme Consciousness, Krishna. And there's one more verse we are to read. Tad yata deva yajanam patato yo dvijatayaha swasatram paraishanti ushmabhir grihamedinam. Thus you should return to the sacrificial arena, because your husband, the learned brahmanas, are householders and need your assistance to finish their respective sacrifices. So actually, there's what is called the three births. Do you know what are the three births? First birth is the biological birth. The second birth is called the upanayam. It's the savitra. Actually, that second birth, the dvija birth, is happening when you're usually 8 years old and you're being qualified to study the Vedas. And at that time, they may call you a brahmana, but you're not a yajika. You cannot perform sacrifices. What is the qualification to perform sacrifice? Who knows? What is this qualification?
Get married.
Yes, you cannot perform yajna unless you're married. Brahma had this one, he was in a grave danger once, actually. If you read Padma Purana, you read this Purana, someone is throwing one curse here, someone is throwing one curse there. But there was this one circumstance where there's one personality. She has like the Gatling gun of curses. And she's throwing hundreds of curses. And you will see why. And so Brahma is about to perform this yajna. And his wife, Savitri, she is a little bit late for the yajna. She may be, getting nice and festive. Or is it Saraswati? Sometimes I mix it. And so he's little late. She's a little late, and the priest is saying, this has to start at this moment, right now. He said, my wife's not here. He said, you can get another wife. Go find one immediately. And so he found Gayatri. And so so when she comes and she sees this other woman is sitting in the seat of the wife, oh my God, she starts cursing everyone. Vishnu, I curse you to appear on earth 10 times. And she starts cursing Lord Shiva and everyone. The curses are going out. This is in Padma Purana. And so the wife is to get married, you have to do, that is the qualification. Then you're called, then you're a fully considered a proper Brahmana, yogic Brahmana. So these Brahmanas, they cannot even perform their ceremonies. And so without the bhakti, it is just karma kanda, it's karmis. But with bhakti, then when our karmic activities have the overcoat of bhakti, then it becomes karma yoga, it becomes linked in. This is dharmasya hyapavargyasya. That actually dharma is not for artha, it's not for kama, it is for ultimate liberation. And even kama is not for indriya priti, it is not for the gratification of the senses. Because this human life, jivasya tattva jigyasa, human life is for for understanding the soul. And so the only thing we should have kama for is just a good, healthy body, good situation, so we can continue on our spiritual life. So the last verse, you should thus return to the sacrificial arena because your husband, the learned brahmanas, are householders and need your assistance to finish their respective sacrifices. So in this way, they're encouraging them to return back into their situation and stanitita, just to stay where they're at, but to always remember Krishna. Let's see. And you will see me in this yagya as well. You will see me in all these things. So we can stop here if you have any reflections, comments, or any questions.
Krishna Jaya, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. Just a small clarification. You said the 3 births. So the biological birth, Upanayana, and the third one is the marriage you are referring to?
Yeah, that's called yogic. This is in 4th canto of Bhagavatam. Let me see if I can pull up the verse. 4th canto, it talks about these 3 births. Let me see, Kindle. Yeah. It'll maybe take me a second. Third birth. Book. Bhagavatam. No. Three. Oh no, I didn't put 3, not third. 3. 3. A civilized human being has 3 kinds of birth. First birth is by the pure father and mother. This birth is called birth by semen. Next birth takes one takes initiation from the spiritual master. This birth is called savitra. Third birth is called yagika. Takes place when one is given the opportunity to worship Lord Vishnu. Despite the opportunities of attaining such births, even if one gets a lifespan of a demigod, if one does not actually engage in the service of the Lord, everything is useless. Similarly, one may be mundane or spiritual, but they're useless if they're not. One's activities may be mundane or spiritual, but they're useless if they're not meant for satisfying the Lord. That fourth canto, chapter 31, text number 10. A nice long purport there.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Very nice verse, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. It puts everything in perspective. You're basically, no matter how long you live, it's all useless unless you're engaged in devotional service. And I also wanted to reflect on how one can benefit by their wife. If you're dull, if you can't see Krishna behind the ritual, at least your wife will bring you back to your senses, and she'll do some service, and you'll benefit. So that's my little reflection. So all glories to the Marriage Institute that helps us big time.
Okay.
We all have to learn one way or another.
Mostly another. Another way. Okay, any questions?
I was thinking of the, this lifespan you're saying, the blessing that is given. The sadhu gives the blessing, because we were mentioning the butcher. He blesses the butcher. May you not live, may you not die. Because his whole life is miserable, and then after comes karma from butchering animals. His next life will be completely miserable, wholly miserable. And he says to the king, may you live long, because now you're experiencing nice karmic results of material enjoyment, but you're pretty much in a situation of just taking. You're not really giving. You're just taking. So next life comes the cost. And then he says to the brahmachari, he says, oh, may you die soon. He's fully just focused and engaged. And maybe he becomes distracted later, so the sadhu gives him this blessing. May you die soon. And then the sadhu sees a Vaishnava. He says, may you live, may you die. So no matter, doesn't matter.
Okay, temple room. Temple room means Adi and his orchestra. Ashramites. Any Ashramites in attendance today? No, you're the one. You're the Ashramite.
Yeah, interesting about the dynamic between men and women, and how the cooperative effort is very pleasing to Krishna, and everybody has some piece of the puzzle, and how Krishna is even more pleased when we cooperate in devotional service. Right? Can you hear me okay? Hare Krishna?
Yeah.
The Native Americans say that in many cases, the man is like a mouse. The mouse is going along very close to the ground, going in between the blades of grass, looking at minute, small things. But then the ladies look at like an eagle. Eagle is way up in the sky and has very sharp vision. It sees the big picture. Can see the river in the distance, can see the mountain, can see someone coming to eat the mouse or something. So that sometimes it's beneficial to have those two different kinds of perspectives. So you can please Krishna by working very nicely. So in the Native American tradition, only the elder ladies elect the chief. The men don't vote. The women see with the heart, and they see the big picture. Here in this country, the women weren't even allowed to vote until just a few decades ago at all.
What am I doing?
But there's something about the feminine perspective, seeing with the heart instead of just the head, and seeing the big picture. And there's a tendency like that. And so, but both are important. Anyway, just a random
Thank you,
comment.
Prabhu. Here we have this Mother Devaki. She did this book, and
what a nice story.
He's in the book. She's saying that how the when you have those two things together, the feminine energy and the masculine energy, the feminine energy,
darshan energy. Let's stay for afterglow, and then we'll discuss that.
Okay.
Yeah, but now please turn your cameras on. Bring your pets. Bring your friends. Bring your spouses. Wake them up. Hare Krishna. And Dini Radhika has so much devotion, even without sound. There's so much devotion in what she's doing. Okay, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, what was the point that you were making?
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, Mother Devaki has this book, and she's talking about how the feminine, it helps to actually balance all the kind of destructive qualities of the masculine.
All the nonsense.
So, yeah. So like the feminine quality is more, like you said, like the ego. It's looking for this kind of long term. So if you look at which percent of crime is committed by single males?
They can also look back really long time, that eagle eye.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you did wrong 50 years ago, they'll make sure to bring that up.
There is no forgive and there is no forget.
Yeah. And that's good. They're holding our feet to the fire.
And so she's saying how there's such a great percentage of crime. It's all caused by bachelors, single men. The statistics and even if you look, we often think the lowest paid person is a lady. Actually, single men are the lowest paid group because nobody has confidence in them. So when there's a lady there, then there's some there's more responsibility that comes into play. So there's a, it balances out the destructive qualities that are there.
Right. By Krishna's grace. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Any further questions, reflections? It's Monday morning, but we are seen by Krishna. We heard about Krishna. We had the association of the devotees, so we are protected against this Monday morning influence, against the rat race. Adi?
We've heard that can you hear me?
Yeah.
We've heard that the residents of Vrindavan, they only worship Krishna because he has something to do with Radharani. You ever hear that?
There you go.
And of the 26 qualities of the qualities were the last quality of Radharani, she always keeps Krishna under her control. But we don't want to minimize Krishna consciousness or Krishna, but still, there's something to be said for the masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
Krishna love. Krishna love. Metta, where are you from? Welcome.
Krishna love.
The homeless.
Right?
We have
Krishna love.
Right?
I have to go to feed the homeless people in the street.
Okay. All right.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Beautiful class, Nityananda.
Hare Krishna.
Who's that? Just
Beautiful class.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. Hare Krishna. It was a beautiful, beautiful class. Thank you so much. Happy Monday.
Thank you.
Happy Monday from Justy, everybody. Okay. Hare Krishna. Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Thank you very much. Scarlett, nice seeing you. Venetia and Wuskidas, Bruce Prabhu, Amita Kishori, Didi Justy, Arjuna Prabhu is still with us. Yogeshwari Sundarananda Ji, Suzanne, Danakeli Prabhu, and Dana Krishna Radharani, Pink Yogi, Rupesh Prabhu, Domi, Bhima Prabhu, everybody. Yeah. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness and come again tomorrow.